Think for a moment. What happens when we stop looking at the world and communication through Eurocentric lenses? When new insights emerge from African American people, cultures, and perspectives are placed at the center of knowledge making. Well, that is the foundation of Afrocentricity, a framework that reclaims voice, agency, and identity in the study of human communication. Welcome back to Communication Campus. I am your host, Dr. Malynnda Stewart. And in today's episode, we are going to explore Afrocentricity, a theory that is developed by Molefi Asante. And Afrocentricity invites us to recenter African values, perspectives, and experiences in how we understand communication, culture, and knowledge. So, this theory emerged in the late 20th century and is both philosophy and communication theory. Dr. Asante introduced this theory as a response to centuries of Eurocentrism. The idea that European thoughts, history, and logic are the default ways to view the world. Now, Dr. Asante argues that this worldview marginalizes African people by forcing them to interpret their realities through someone else's lenses. So, this theory reclaims that agency and positioning African perspectives at the starting point for understanding human experiences. Now, an Afrocentric communication theory is grounded in 5 key principles. First is centering. African experiences and voices are placed at the center of the analysis, not just as others that we would compare to Western norms. They are the focus. Then we think about agency. Communication is an act of self-definition and liberation. It's how people reclaim identity and resist oppression. Third, we have harmony and community. The goal of communication is not dominance or debate, but balance, unity, and collective understanding. Fourth, we have spirituality. Communication connects the material and the spiritual realms, and it's relational and deeply, deeply human. Now, last is Nommo, and this is a vital African concept meaning the generative power of the world. Words don't just describe reality, they create it. Now, these principles make this theory not just a cultural framework, but a philosophy of communication rooted deeply in community, creativity, and liberation. So, what does Afrocentric communication look like in practice? Well, this starts by looking like storytelling. There are deep oral traditions remaining at the center. Stories have persevered history. They teach values and they strengthen identity. We have call and response. Common in African and African American communication, this pattern reflects participation and the co-creation of meaning. We can think about communal rhetoric. And this is where the speaker's goal is often harmony and collective empowerment, not persuasion or victory. And lastly, we think about spiritual expression. Rituals, music, and performance are main forms of communication that connect emotion, body, and spirit. In Afrocentric communication, the process of connecting is far more important than the product of convincing. Now, this theory isn't just about centering Africa, it's about decentering domination. It challenges the assumptions that Western frameworks are universal, and it opens up space for multiple ways of knowing, speaking, and being. So, in communication studies, this theory expands our understanding of rhetoric, dialogue, leadership, even education. And it reminds us that culture shapes not what we say, but how truth itself is defined. So, to sum this all up, Afrocentricity recenters African perspectives and agency. It values harmony, spirituality, and community in communication. And it reminds us that words like Nommo have power to create worlds. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Communication Campus. I'm your host, Dr. Malynnda Stewart. And in our next session, we will obviously continue exploring diverse perspectives. Until then, remember, theory isn't just about explaining the world. It's about deciding whose world we're going to keep at the center of the process.